Imagine, if you will, you have had your vacant property on the market almost 6 weeks without an acceptable application. You have never had an issue renting your property out before, and you're not sure what to think. You're not asking much more than you did a couple years ago, but it's sitting there like a bump on a log. Why is your home not renting? I'll explain. Why is your home not renting? We're starting to hear this question more and more. The rental market is changing. Even in major metropolitan markets like we have in Long Beach, Los Angeles, and Orange County, there are times the market cools off a little, making it harder than in the past to get your vacancies filled. If you're finding your home sitting on the market, it's probably a combination of one or more of the following factors. Overpriced. Price is the easiest thing to control and usually the reason a property sits on the market too long. The right price can make up for a lot of shortcomings. In a competitive market where prospective tenants have multiple properties to choose from, even small differences in price can significantly affect how many showings you get and reduce the time your property sits vacant. Be smart when pricing your property. Poor condition. Condition of a home matters more than you might think. Today's tenants are especially turned off by worn carpet, sloppy paint jobs, and shoddy repairs. Just because you may have been willing to put up with certain things decades ago when you were in college does not mean that your next tenant will. Standards have gotten higher as rents have risen. Plus, you probably don't want the kind of tenant willing to take a home that is in substandard condition. Dirty. Cleanliness extends past condition. Make sure your home is professionally cleaned. Properly cleaning a vacant property takes more time and effort than an occupied one. Things like dirty grout in showers and sinks can look pretty grimy in what otherwise is a clean home. Grease on an oven hood or dust on a fan can also get overlooked. Tenants don't want a place that seems like it has other people's germs. Out of date. The property may be in good condition and very clean, but can still be outdated. It's hard to achieve 2025 rents with 1985 bathrooms and 1995 kitchens. Even vintage homes need some modern touches. It's nearly impossible to update an occupied home, so you may want to consider investing in some updates while your property is vacant. No appliances. Properties that have appliances included are easier to rent than properties that do not. You may have to invest a little more up front, and you may have an occasional appliance repair along the way. However, at the end of the day, appliances reduce vacancy time and pay for themselves. Functionally problematic. Some properties are set up or situated in a way that makes them harder to rent. Appraisers call this functional obsolescence. Examples include a 4 or even 3 bedroom home with only 1 bathroom, walk-through bedrooms, or a home with too many stairs. This can also be a property on a busy street or with no parking. These kinds of factors make a home harder to lease. Furnished. Leasing furnished homes is trickier than unfurnished homes. With furnished homes, the prospective tenant has to like both the home and the furnishings. The furnishings need to be very specific for this type of rental, which is different than how you may furnish it for living. Don't be guilty of using your rental as a place to store furniture you don't know what to do with. Occupied. It's harder to lease an occupied home than a vacant one. Some people try to show a property while it's still leased or the owner's still living there. This may work on occasion, but it's not ideal. Scheduling is more complicated and prospective tenants may feel like they're intruding. Plus, prospective tenants may be concerned that you will want to show the property back when they're the tenant. Not properly advertised. If an attractive property is priced right, people still need to know it's available. Today's renter is looking on the internet and comparing your property with several other properties on the market. There is more information out there than ever before. You want to make sure your property is properly advertised. It needs to be on all the major websites and showing up in a professional manner. Limited availability for showings. Your property has to be available to be shown. This can be an issue when prospective tenants can only see it after work or on weekends and the manager is not around. Or if the prospective tenants want to see it through the week and the landlord is only around on the weekends. This is why many management companies are taking advantage of remote showings. Unrealistic criteria. Some landlords set the bar unrealistically high, especially for a particular property. Your one-bedroom apartment in a below-average building is probably never going to get an applicant with a 790 credit score and 6 months reserves in the bank. Waiting for someone you personally like or an overqualified tenant who happens to love your property may take too long, and it could put you at risk of fair housing violation. Slow market. You need to be aware of what market you are in. More specifically, what the market is like for the specific property you have. Just because rents usually increase does not mean that they automatically go up every year. Not all parts of the market move in the same direction. Different areas and different segments may behave differently based on local happenings and the larger economic factors. Slow time of year. Every market has some seasons or times of the year where vacancies are harder to fill. This happens during the holidays for much of Southern California market, and in the summer for homes in the desert, or in the winter for homes where the cold weather is an issue. Not professionally managed. Having professional management can give you access to unbiased professional advice as to why your property is not leased. Plus, most tenants prefer to lease through a professional management company. Tenants can more easily vet a management company to help ensure a higher level of professional service, as well as reduce the chances of falling victim to a leasing scam. We went through many different reasons why your property may not be renting. Price is the most common and usually the easiest to fix. You've looked everywhere else and done everything you can reasonably do, then adjusting the price is usually the best bet. If there are other issues like condition of the property, you might as well go ahead and take care of it. Some landlords make the mistake of waiting to see if prospective tenants will make a request before fixing. This is a mistake. Go ahead and take care of the issues ahead of time. That way you can enjoy the benefit of showing a better property. Most people will move on to a nicer property rather than make the request of a potential landlord. For things you can't control, like being on a busy street, then price may be your only alternative. We will look at various tips and tricks to give you a competitive edge in finding long-term tenants, as well as tips for filling that stubborn vacancy in separate blogs. For now, knowing some of the reasons your property is not renting is the first and most important step for getting your vacancy filled. Bottom line, sometimes homes don't rent as fast as anticipated. This can happen anytime, but is more prevalent in the softening markets. Your property may be overpriced, in poor condition, dirty, outdated, without appliances, or functionally problematic. Some furnished homes and occupied properties may be a challenge. The issue could be the property is not properly advertised, has limited availability, or you have unrealistic criteria. Of course, it may be a slow market or a slow time of year. property management professional can advise and guide you through the process while putting prospective tenants' minds at ease. The sooner you address the issue, the better. For real estate advice, if you're looking for a reliable property management company to help you handle a rental property, or a real estate broker to guide you through the sales process in Long Beach, Los Angeles, or Orange County, California, or you're just considering it and have a few questions about real estate, contact the Mike Dunfee Group today. We're happy to help.